What's going on, guys? Moving back. It's another Gears video. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of Gears of War 2 tips and tricks, and I'm only doing this video because I've seen an influx of Gears of War players coming in since the Gears of War E-Day announcement, and I think that this is a great time to get some of these nuances from the series down pat for some of you new players who are going to be watching. So we're gonna go ahead and load up a local annex with one bot just to make sure it starts. I haven't touched this game's local in mad long. Also, this is on Xenia. It'll work the same anywhere, but because I refuse to record gameplay off of my Xbox, if I can just get it on Xenia or on my PC, this is what I'm going to do, right? So the very first thing that I want to talk about and cover in this video is going to be just simple movement. So
Yeah, come on, let's
obviously you're
go.
going to pick the control scheme that's comfortable for you. So we're going to go to controller settings, and in this game I run high, medium because of the way the game is, and I leave my controller scheme set to default. I know a lot of people like alternate, and that's perfectly fine, but if you like to take the extra time to learn different angles and different timings on your buttons, then that might be for you. Or if you just want to separate the roll and the roadie and the slide, that also might be for you. But just be warned that it can be a little bit more difficult to learn on each game, so I like to leave it on default. Right, so first thing we're just going to talk about is the roadie run, right? So in Gears of War 2, the roadie run is considered one of the slower ways to get around. So the better option when it comes to moving is always going to be roadie and then dive, right? You're gonna want to dive. So you're just gonna want to roadie, dive, roadie, dive. And if you want to take the time to run a timer on it, you can, but it does save, I want to say, about a half of a step. At least half of a step when it comes to just moving around, right? So the second thing that I want to get into, this kind of links into the roadie, or running around in movement phase, is essentially when you're running up to cover, right? Your first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to slide into it, and you're going to want to adjust your camera on the side that you're sliding to. This game will pull your camera forward you a little bit, but not a whole lot. So you're going to want to learn to get down the exact timing and angle of where you're sliding in so that you can basically square off where you're heading to. Right? So you're going to want to practice just little things like that, like when you're sliding up to a cover. Don't leave your camera centered because you'll end up like this. If you go to peek, you might mess up. So practice, those three things. You're going to want to practice your roadie, your dive, and then sliding into cover. And the reason why I'm saying to practice sliding into cover is because in this game, and I believe in Gears 3, even in Gears 1, there's this mechanic called the up A boost, which is why you see a lot of people sliding to covers very far away, as far as the game will allow them to reach these covers, to be able to boost around it and get extra speed. It might not seem like you're getting very far on your screen, but the idea is that in this game, the movement slide is a little bit faster than just roadie running or diving alone. So the reason why wall bouncing in this game works so good is because when you aim at a wall and hit the wall, you move so quickly that you just are almost instantly out of the aim of your enemy. So when it comes to up A boosting around the corner, you're going to want to make sure that you get the angle down perfectly so that you're maximizing the angle, the distance, and the speed at which you're hitting it. Right? So I think that's going to cover the basics of movement. For right now, we can get a little bit more into advanced techniques with movement like wall bouncing or back A's, the up A, little things like the reaction style. We can talk about that. But for right now, for the first tips and tricks video, I just wanted to keep it very basic for the new players. Alright, so now that we covered that, we're going to talk about playing the cover. In this game, right, you're not going to want to always be going as fast as you can up at somebody. You will get punished a lot because there are a lot of different speeds that you can adjust at. For some reason, this game, and in Gears 1, they only gave you 3 options to change how fast your camera senses. So, when it comes to playing the cover in a fight, right, you're going to want to make sure that you're hitting all the angles that you can. And this would be better shown with somebody else, so I think that I'm going to actually get more into this when I have somebody to show you. So basically, what's going to happen is when you hit this cover, right, you're going to want to always make sure you're covering as much of your body as you can. So even if you got to pull off, right, and just hold the angle, this is called a lefty flip, by the way. It's a little bit more of an advanced technique in this game. The way that I did it isn't very conventional, and I'll show you right now as to why it doesn't really work. So when you go to lefty flip and you pull off, you're always going to have that little rebound where your character is always going to want to flop around off the wall. So a couple of different ways to do it. I'll show you them real quick. You could go for a slap shot like that and then pull off and walk backwards. I'm not sure if it's cover based like with this, but I know that for the what I do is I'll do this, and then now my body is covered, but I can shoot around this cover. So there's that, right? And then the other way to do it would just be like this. So what you're doing is you're sliding into cover and you're pulling back, but as you're sliding and pulling back, you hold down the left trigger, and you want to be angled perfectly. It's a little bit difficult. Sometimes you might mess it up if you're going for it. Like the same thing that happens here will happen on your lefty flip if you don't get it down right. But yeah, there's many different ways to approach this. That's what happens if you don't get the lefty flip timing right, or you touch the wall and don't pull off fast enough. You'll just kind of flip back to the right side. But this is a way to play cover here. Not always going to be useful because you are extra slow at movement, and for some reason in this game, just aiming could be a pain in the ass with peer-to-peer connection. So you might have to swap out of it and then play cover like this, or flip it around. So these are just little ways to play these little covers right here. You don't want to always be just flying in at somebody in this game, going for wrap shots and reaction, or just playing reckless. You want to take your time, and you're going to size up your opponent, and then you're going to want to make sure that what you're planning on doing actually matters. You don't want to just waste your shots. You don't want to waste what you're doing. Now, mind you, there's a cycle in between each shot I can pull down the right trigger like I am now, and this is fast. So you're gonna have to make sure that each shot counts. Playing cover, which can arguably be one of the more important ways to play this game when it comes to competitive, like integrity and the way that people play it. So, there's 2 things that I wanted to cover so far. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video right now is grenade tosses. A lot of people will, sit there and they'll just toss the grenade randomly. They'll just press RT and it'll dump out of their hand like a blind throw. And that's okay, you can do that. You can always aim it up, you want farther, aim it lower, you want to drop it on the floor. That's fine. And then you have the tags too, so you can tag walls. But the most quick and accurate way in this game to throw a grenade, and it doesn't matter which grenade it is, and you'll see me doing this a lot online. You can do this in Gears 3 as well if you want to take it there, but I don't know if there's any advantage to it in that game. What you're going to do is you're going to want to make sure that where you're aiming is free. You don't always have to hold LT, but this is basically what you're going to see for a second, right? So you're going to tap RT and tap LT immediately after, and what's going to happen is instead of it just randomly going wherever it wants to like that, you get the option to change the angle of where you're going to throw it as you're throwing it out of your hand. And believe it or not, it's actually a little bit faster throwing it the way that I showed you to begin with than it is throwing it underhand and aiming it like this, because you're stuck in an animation, pulling it out of your pocket, starting up this, so you're gonna have a second or two before it actually leaves your character's hand, and you might get punished because you're sitting there swinging a fucking grenade at somebody. And like I said, the other way that you can get messed up with grenades is just by underhand tossing them low. Especially off cover. I always recommend aiming off of cover, because if you don't, you're more than likely, it's so hard to determine when this is going to happen. But like, I'm pushing up here, I want to overhead this grenade over my character's head instead of it tossing around the cover, so I'm going to overhead it. And what happens a lot of the times is if you're on the wrong cover, it successfully happened there, but a lot of the times what happens is you'll hit right here with your grenade. Right, so in this game, a lot of the times what players will do is they'll look at their grenade, where they want to throw their grenade, they'll pull it out on cover, and then they'll back up, and they'll go to throw it. So there's a couple different ways that you can get it, but I personally would always RT and then LT so that you get the aim afterwards. Do you understand? I'll show it one more time if this grenade spawn before I end the video. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick this up, you're going to take it out, you're just going to want to find the area you're going to want to throw it. Say I want to throw it right there, I'm going to aim this up, boom. Simple. Comes out stupid fast, you get the little, see where it's going to go, and it's, you know, it always works. You're never going to have problems with it bouncing around or bouncing somewhere that you don't want it to, or it being extra clunky. So I think that's all I'm going to talk about for this first video. If you guys like what you saw, please comment, subscribe, leave a thumbs up if you find anything that you would like me to talk about, or if there's anything that I could cover better in this video that maybe I didn't get down all the way if you can understand better. Let me know in the comment section, and I will definitely try to do better next time. But yeah, I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys took something away from this video and you take it into your Gears of War 2 gameplay. Have a good day.